Talk to me. Is the argument here about competence? Is the argument here, Akayla, about compromise? What is it exactly that Biden begins to sell coming out of this?
I don't think anyone really considers this debt limit bill an outright victory for Biden or for Republicans, for that matter. It does very little to advance their key priorities. But the bigger picture here is Biden is able to paint himself as a unifier. He's able to say that he is someone who can reach across the aisle if and when it's necessary to do so. And that's exactly the message that we saw him deliver in his address. It was his opening and closing message, and that is politically popular. If you ask pollsters, voters want to see lawmakers work together more on issues that matter to them. And Biden has done this multiple times with the CHIPS bill, with infrastructure, with gun reform. So this is just another piece of evidence for him to push on the campaign trail. But that being said, there's still some weaknesses that he's leaving this debt limit fight with. And that is certainly angering people on the left wing of his party, particularly the Progressive Caucus, and people like Elizabeth Warren, Congressman Ro Khan, both of which were on Biden's campaign advisory board and voted no. And also with climate change activists who are not happy with some of the changes to energy permitting. And climate change is still a huge issue for young voters who have been super influential in the past two elections for Democrats.
Yeah, Tyler, to that point that Akayla brings up, 46 House Democrats voted no on the debt bill. One of them was Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. And I want you to take a listen to what she said today about the framing around progressives who voted no on this. Take a listen.
We did not cast our votes until we knew that we were in the clear, but we also did not want to give this false impression that this is how business is supposed to be conducted, nor did we want to give the false impression that this was a good thing. That does not mean that I'm against the president. The president did everything that he could in a hostage negotiation situation. But the reality is that for me to sit there and say, yes, you had a gun pointed at my head, now let me give you all the thumbs up because yeah, that's how we did it. No, that's not right. That's not what is normal.
I mean, Tyler, this was part of the core frustration, right? Not just the concessions that were there, but the process by which this all went down, an appetite on the part of, I think, all Democrats to see the process reimagined in the future. But I think part of what Congresswoman Crockett is saying there is do not compare progressive Democrats to the Freedom Caucus, right? The critiques were fundamentally different. And as we are now in the aftermath of this, I think there's a fear of revisionist history.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you saw there from the Congresswoman and from other members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and aligned lawmakers is that they wanted to make sure that ultimately the United States did not default, which would have had potentially devastating impacts on the economy, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And so this was ultimately a messaging effort by the Congressional Progressive Caucus and other progressive lawmakers to take issue with some of the things that were in the legislation, but also, as you said, the overall process. I think there's going to be calls for the president and his team to explore other options to prevent this from happening again. Obviously, this legislation that he signed today ensures that he will not have to deal with this in his first term. But as Akayla mentioned, he's running for a second term, and he could be confronted with another debt limit fight in the beginning part of a potential second term. So I think, the president and his aides have said they're exploring other options, the 14th Amendment, other avenues to try to take this out of the process that we saw potentially lead to really significant economic repercussions. So whether or not that ultimately happens, I think they're going to kick this can down the road a little bit and come back when they might need to. But that's what you heard from Representative Crockett there, is that they weren't going to let the country default. And as you said, some House Republicans did not take that same tack.